Welcome once again. My name is Ginika Olwa. Hope you're having a nice time. It's weekend already, and we will say, thank God, it's Friday. Now, joining me virtually to discuss issues, where it affects us as Abians and as Nigerians, is the former Chief Press Secretary to former Governor Okeze Pazo in Abia State, Enyinnaya Appollos. He joins me virtually this morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Okay, welcome. A few days ago, Nigeria marked 25 years of unbroken democracy. I would like to start by getting your assessment. How far have we fared as a nation 25 years on of unbroken democracy and the country? Are we making any headway or not?
Oh, thank you very much. 25 years is quite a number for anybody to compare him or herself. If you've been doing a business for 25 years and it is normal for you to ask yourself, in this business, have I done well? Or are there areas I need to improve on my business? So it is not out of place that Nigerians are asking the same question in our democracy. Of course, we've seen democracies that are older than ours. Everything is a work in progress. In our own case, we've had the ups and downs of it, and Nigerians are beginning to ask questions.
Yeah.
So far, how well? Are there areas that we need to improve? The answer is yes. There are areas that we need to work on our democracy, because in the end, what all of us want is a better Nigeria for every Nigerian. It doesn't matter which political party or which tribe are you from. We're talking about Nigeria here. It is on this plank that a lot of people are beginning to think, look, we have looked at the structure of our presidential democracy and what it looks like and what we think it should be. Is government really doing enough in terms of infrastructural development, in terms of provision of every other amenities that will help Nigerians live quality lifestyle? It looks as if that the democracy as we have it, the structure of government as we have it today, has placed the government both at the federal and at the state in a position where they spend so much money taking care of government officials instead of doing the real work. That's why I hear people now talk about maybe we should go back to the parliamentary system that we had before now. Others are saying, no, let's look at the structure of democracy that we have. Of course, we run a bicameral legislature in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Where you have the 360 members in the House of Reps and 109 in the Senate.
Yes.
People are looking at that number. Is there anything that can be done? Sometimes at the executive, you have a very bogus, very large federal executive council where you have even ministers that you and I don't know. So people are now saying, let us start from there. Can those at the federal level, those at the executive arm of government, pull down the number of ministers to such an effective number? Of course, if you have 40 ministers, what that means is you're going to have 40 overheads that are going to run in maintaining the ministers and their ministries. Again, others are also looking at are also of the view that there are some ministry and translators that are still domiciled at the federal government that has no business being there. Talking about the Ministry of Land, talking about the Ministry of Agriculture, talking about the Ministry of Housing and all of that. What business has federal government? These are things that ordinarily should be at the state level. So these are the options that are available for Nigeria. Then going to the legislature, a lot of Nigerians have the view that we don't need a bicameral legislature. Yeah. We can adopt a unicameral National Assembly where you have the scrap Senate or you scrap the House of Reps, whichever way. Then I'm to say each state must have a certain number, just like we have in the Senate, where every state in the federation has 3 senators. You can decide to say, okay, let us have 5 members from every state. That is a proposition by some other persons.
Yeah.
So if you look at it in the end, it will reduce the number and reduce the cost. That will enable the government to have enough money that will go into infrastructural development of our nation. Because part of our major problems, whether we like it or not in the country, is that we do not have functional infrastructure, whether it is road infrastructure, aviation infrastructure, security infrastructure, everywhere we do not have. And government will still tell you that there is no money to do all of this. So in looking at our democracy at 25, these are the areas that I feel also that we should start from. Let us bring down the cost of running government, especially at the center. Then, of course, whatever we have at the center will naturally trickle down to the state. So, as we go on in the democratic journey, we'll begin to penetrate our structure until we get it right properly.
Okay, so if you talk about the number of people that we have at the parliament, especially at the National Assembly, should we be talking about reducing the number of people we have there, or reducing the entitlement they get, the allowances and all that? Because even if you leave them there, even if it's only 1 or 2 persons you live there, with that humongous amount, they take home at the end of the day, we are still spending so much. What do you think?
Of course, if you are spending 20 naira on 20 persons, you don't expect to spend 20 naira on 10 persons. I don't know if you understand what that means. Recently, the National Assembly renovated the 2 chambers of the parliament. It cost a lot of money doing that. If you have only 1 chamber, you don't expect that the amount of money used in renovating the 2 chambers will be used in renovating 1. That's just all we are saying. Cutting down costs, including reducing the amount of whatever it is that they go home with. Let me understand what I'm saying. It includes that, because it also includes ensuring that those are the executive arm of government also reduce the amount of money they use in servicing themselves. There is no minister in Nigeria that does not use convoy of 3-4 cars. For what? That has always been the argument of those in the parliament. Do you know what I'm saying? So, reducing the number of ministers will reduce the number of vehicles that government will buy, will reduce the number of allowances and all whatnot that government will pay to sustain those ministers in the office. Yes, as we reduce the number, as we go about reducing the number, we're also going about reducing the amount of money spent in running and maintaining these top government officials and all of that.
Okay. Now, let's talk about another burning issue in this country, and that is the issue of the minimum wage. With the proposal of 62,000 naira by the federal government and Labour still making demands of about 250,000 naira for minimum wage per month. Do you think, you've been in government, does the state government have what it takes to actually sustain the demands of the Labour, especially the state government, because they are the ones saying, no, we cannot even afford the 62,000 naira, but as we have it today, Labour said, no way, we are not going to reduce it again. It's 250,000 naira or nothing. What do you think?
I think we are all living this argument. We think it is government against Labour or government versus Labour. Can Flow FM pay all its staff minimum of 250,000? That's the answer. Because if those in the private sector think it's about government and Labour, once the national minimum wage is passed, what it means is that that is what will be paid by both private and public sector players. We must tell ourselves the truth. All the states in the nation are not equal in terms of how much money they have. They also are not equal in terms of the number of workers that they have. I agree that workers should be well taken care of. I also agree that workers should work. Because none of these workers we are talking about here, do they really work? I'll tell you a story. I had an instance when we were in government that someone called me from a state outside Abia then, and was complaining why we haven't paid local government. I asked the person, are your parents in the local government? The person said, no, that he's in the local government. I said, what do you mean you're in the local government? You receive salary in Abia as a local government worker. The person said yes. And you are not in the state. So how do you work? And these are people talking about minimum wage. Like I said, this thing is not just about government and labor. I agree that there should be negotiation. Then all of them will come to a point where we agree what is payable according to what each state and each government and each establishment, whether public or private, can pay. 65,000 naira is good and it's not bad. You see, a lot of people think that when they say 65,000 naira minimum wage, that is what we pay to everybody. No, it is called a minimum wage. There are people who are earning more than that, even as we speak.
Yeah.
What it means is that once the minimum wage is agreed upon on whatever price, those who are still earning more will keep earning more. Those who are still earning less will keep earning less. So let all of us look at these arguments holistically from the point of view of how it will work for us, so that in the end, everybody will be okay. The federal government can agree to pay 62,000 naira as they propose. Of course, we've had some state governments saying, no, we can't. And those state governments, listen to them and find out why they are saying, no, we can't. Unfortunately, the private sector people are keeping quiet as if it's none of their business, like I said. Well, when it is passed tomorrow, it is believed and assumed that everybody will fall into the line and pay what has been agreed as minimum wage. So my position here is neither here nor I'm not for anybody, I'm not for against anyone, but my position is let there be a holistic approach to this argument, so that in the end, Nigeria will have a better payment plan for its workers, whether in the private sector or in the public sector. There are people who still receive 15,000 naira salary today in private sector. There are people who still receive 10,000 naira salary today. And if we're talking about minimum wage, these people who are receiving 10 or 15,000 naira, they work more than somebody who will go to the secretariat in Enyinnaya and sign register by 10 and leaves and he is in the next market, in the nearby market, selling okra and pepper. In the evening, in the afternoon also, she comes back to sign again and say that he has worked for government for that day. I mean, we should need to look at it so that we don't hurt anybody in the line. It is something that the truth must be told, and a position that will favor everybody should be taken. That's my position on the minimum wage issue.
Okay, you are not putting a peg as far. We are begging, let us do it. Okay. Now, let's come back to Abia State. The government, we are still talking about welfare of workers. In Abia State here, the state government have not been able to pay the 35,000 naira wage award, which the federal government initially pushed. And I think they've started implementing that at the national level, and some states as well have started doing that. But what here in Abia State, the state governments have not been able to, implement that. And the organized labor here have been pushing. In fact, they said that they are now issuing government ultimatum and all that to pay the 35,000 naira minimum, what's it called, the wage award. And that if we must go ahead and have a peaceful, what's it called, the working atmosphere will become peaceful, that this 35,000 naira wage award has to be paid. But up to this moment, government is not yielding to that demand. What's your reaction?
Well, it still boils down to what we had said earlier. Finding out why it's difficult for government to pay. Is it because of lack of funds or the political will or whatever? I do not know. But I know that the government that is there today in Abia started off by sacking a lot of workers. They claim that doing that will give them more money to pay. If after sacking a lot of Abians, pushing them into the labor market, and they're still not able to pay, it's now left for them to explain to Abians why they are not able to pay. As for the labor in Abia, I'm sorry, I don't take them serious. My reason being that today they will say a different thing. The next day they will be in bed with the same government, saying that all is well. So who do you not believe? Sometimes you find it difficult to know when the labor in Abia is speaking from the position of the oppressed and also when they are speaking from the position of not being oppressed. But the fact is that the government must do everything to ensure that the welfare of workers, real workers who are working, are not jeopardized. But like I said, if you have sacked a good number of workers, claiming that will give you more money to pay, why are you still not able to pay them? Why? That's the question that is left for the government in the state now to answer. Otherwise, it is their call. Let them sort it out. I mean, that's just my position. Let the labor push for what labor in Abia push for what they know that is okay for them, and enjoy the system that they have today.
Because the federal government came up with that, to cushion the effect of the harsh economic realities we have today. I mean, transportation, food inflation, and the rest of them. I mean, if any government should give human face to whatever they are doing, they should consider this. I mean, look at issues these people are suffering, and look at the small amount they are being paid. I mean, if you can augment this with what they take home, it will go a long way to address some of these issues we are talking about, especially in the area of transport, because that takes a larger chunk of whatever thing anybody, a worker, whether in the states or at the national level, takes home.
Everybody is suffering, both those in the public sector and those in private. But you made mention about money that federal government gave to state to cushion the effects of the suffering. I think that is as a result of the subsidy removal.
Yes.
It is left for Abians and labor in Abia to ask the state government where the money is. Because as we all know, federal government has done that, has cushioned the effect of the subsidy removal. And again, let us not forget that removing subsidy has increased the amount of money that state government receives from federal. What the government in Abia today is receiving, in the history of Abia, no government previously has ever received such. Nobody is envious of them. That is the time that they find themselves. But if you are receiving so much from the federal government, including all the other incentives that the federal government is giving, what are you doing with them? Where are they? That's why I'm saying that the labor in Abia is not living up to expectation. Today they are in debate with the government. The next day they are on the street claiming to be demanding for what is theirs. So when you have such an unstable character, you find it difficult to know exactly what they are up to. But the state government must be held accountable to account for the huge amount of money that comes into the state now as a result of the removal of subsidy that has increased the allocation to both the state and the local government. And the other incentive, I heard somewhere the other time that the governor said that the 2 billion naira they got from the federal government is still in the bank. What is the money doing in the bank? Was the money given for you to deposit it in the bank? So if it's yielding interest, for who and whose interest? By now, Abia should be asking, if that money is still in the bank, can we know how much interest that it has accumulated so far, and why the state government is unable to disburse the money for the purpose it was given? So, like I said, the Nigerian Labour Congress in Abia must be up and doing in demanding for what is there. But of course, let us not pretend that we don't know why Labour in Abia is not living up to expectation today, because the Nigerian Labour Congress is a part of the Labour Party that we have in Nigeria. And the only state where you have the Labour Party in government is in Abia. So you can understand why the NLC in Abia State is not doing as much as is expected, or why you understand why they will be in bed with government tonight and be on the street the next morning pretending to be protesting. Not only the people in government are suffering, or government workers are suffering. Nigerians on the street are also suffering. I had expected the government to even say that whatever subvention or whatever incentive they got from the federal government to cushion the effect of suffering is not just only for workers. It should be for other citizens, whether you are in the civil service or not. That is what it should be. But I heard that Abia's one is still in the bank. I don't know why it's still in the bank anyway.
Okay, so many people, especially the labor union leaders, they may want to disagree with you when you say they are in bed with government this time, and at other times they will be on the streets protesting. Because with the issue of this continuous verification exercise, which government has directed workers to go online and upload their documents, in fact, the labor union in the state has said no worker should do that, because according to them, it is becoming too cumbersome for them to do. Going by the fact that so many of workers in the state have not been paid. Some are owed 8 months, 9 months, 1 year, and the rest of them. And after the first verification exercise, the government is still directing workers to go ahead and upload their document. I mean, if you're doing that, it requires money to buy data and do the upload and the stress therein, and that's the position of the labor union in the state. With this development, it appears that there's an disagreement between the labor union and government at this time. Are we likely to see a kind of industrial crisis should this continue?
I don't know why you say that the labor will want to disagree with me. I'm surprised to hear from you now that there are still workers in Abia who have not received salary in the last 1 year. The story out there is that the government in Abia has paid all arrears, and Abia workers are receiving their salary before the end of the month. That is the story, in case you are not aware. I know that the system in Abia currently runs on propaganda. So why are the Labour Congress in Abia, when the system is using this propaganda to getting away with this propaganda that all salaries have been paid? So if you are now the one telling me on radio this morning that there are still workers in Abia who have not received salary in the last 1 year, that means that Governor of Abia State has not paid them since he resumed office. Now, the Labour can no longer come to say that they are not in bed with government if that is the situation. Now, why would the Labour oppose verification? Please, I'm fully in support of the government to do verification. However, they want to do it. If they want to do it 20 million times a year, let them go ahead and do it. Let everybody who calls himself a worker in Abia go and get verified so that you get salary paid. I gave you an instance of someone who called me sometime in the past. He is in another state and claiming to be a local government worker in Abia and all of that. So Labour should not oppose government verification of workers. They should not. Because I want to agree with the government that will help them in the end to know the number of workers they have and what they pay. So they should not. But at the same time, if government is running on propaganda to say that they have paid everybody, which salary again are they talking about that they've not been paid? Because people who listened to the propaganda from the state government believe that nobody is being owed salary in Abia. So maybe that's why the case of Abia is different, because the whole world has been told that salaries have been cleared. I heard the other time that 9 years pension was cleared. What did the pension associations in Abia do when that propaganda was spewed out, that 9 years pension was paid? They said nothing until it was later discovered that no 9 years pension was paid, but 9 months.
Well, in all fairness to labor union, I think this issue came up and we asked them, were you part of the agreement the Nigerian Union of Pensioners actually had with Abia State government? They said no, that they were not carried along, so they did not even know the terms of agreement. And even when they have actually approached the pensioners to tell them up to this moment that they did not open up to them. That's what they said. I'm not holding brief for them.
That confirms my position that whether the pension union or the labor union, they are in bed with the government in the state. So if you are in bed with someone, enjoy it, whether it is good or bad, and stop disturbing the peace of other suffering masses, those who are suffering as a result of the propaganda that the government is doing every morning and evening. Let them have it well. That's my position.
Okay, if you're just joining us, it's Abia Democrats. It's live here on Flu 94.1 FM. My guest is Enyinnaya Appollos, former Chief Press Secretary to former Governor Keze Ikpeazu in Abia State. We'll take a breather now. When we come back, we'll talk about party politics, where it affects the People's Democratic Party, the main opposition political party here in Abia State, and other issues bordering on governance in Abia State. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to the program. It's still Abia Democrats here on Flu 94.1 FM. My name is Ginika Olwaha, and my guest is Enyinnaya Appollos, a former Chief Press Secretary to former Governor Keze Ikpeazu in Abia State. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Now, let's talk about party politics, especially where it affects your party, the People's Democratic Party in Abia State. The forthcoming PDP Congress in Abia State, how prepared is the party, especially to address some of the issues raised by some party members with concerns about imposition of leaders, like we've seen them happen in the party some time ago? Are they ready to address some of these issues raised by party members?
Come again. What are the issues again? I didn't get that.
Imposition of leaders.
The position of leaders.
Imposition of leaders on the party.
Imposition of leaders.
Yes.
Well, I don't know who are members of the PDP that said that to you. First of all, you will agree with me that there is no political party in Abia State that is as grassrooted and as popular as the PDP. That's not an argument. The only party that has its roots in every ward and every community and village in Abia, as we speak, it remains the PDP. Not even the APC that is in the government at the center, nor the Labour Party that is in the government at the state. Of course, the party is preparing, getting ready for the congresses and election of new leaders from the world to the local governments, to the zones, and of course to the state before moving to the national. The party is ready. Of course, we heard the party leaders met last month and had a robust outing in Umuahia, the party secretariat, where everybody that matters in the PDP, all our leaders were there. Anybody who was not at that meeting is either not a member of the PDP or have left the party. So there is no issue whatsoever in the PDP. The party is ready, the leaders are ready, the followers are ready, members of the party are ready, waiting for the time and date to commence the world congresses. Talking about the issue of imposition of leadership, the PDP, as our leaders have said it, if you listen to the former governor, Dr. Keze Ikpeazu, during the last enlarged stakeholders meeting, if you listen to Colonel Akobon, the senator representing Abia Central, and of course, if you listen to the party chairman, Honorable Asifo Okori, and of course, other leaders like Doyema that spoke at that meeting, you will hear them talk about ensuring that the party produces its leaders, its or executives from the world in the next congresses. The words. What do I mean by that? Nobody, no leader from a particular ward is allowed to move to another ward to influence who becomes what. Okay. And of course, judging from the experience we had from the last election, we are seriously moving towards rebuilding our party. And everybody has agreed, oh yeah, we are unsuccessful in the election. That is part of what politics is all about. No party in any democracy in the world would remain in government forever. It's happening in the US, it's happening everywhere you can see democracy. So it is not a new thing that PDP is in the opposition today. We've been in the opposition before in Abia and came back to reclaim power. So, and we're happy that the way the system is being run today in Abia by the Labour Party has given the PDP a very good, clear view and opportunity of reclaiming power very soon in the state. So the party is serious about rebuilding its structures from the ward to the state level. And leaders at their own level have also agreed that they must allow the party to produce its leaders from amongst them, and nothing like imposition whatsoever in the PDP in Abia State as we speak.
Okay, so the other concerns raised by some people is the issue of your party not carrying young people along, young members of your party along. They say you concentrate so much on the big party stakeholders, those that have the money to share around. You consider them for
I won't let you finish. Let me answer you that question. That is propaganda.
But I'm sure you've heard it as well.
No, let me come, sir.
Okay.
Which party has ever given the young people opportunity in Abia than PDP? Look at the limited past administration. I had a whole lot of younger people participating in various key positions of government and in the party. Look at the structure of PDP in Abia. Look at the state ESCO in Abia today. The chairman I'm sure he's in his 50s. Why are we talking about young people? The young people in Abia in PDP have always participated. In fact, if we had 50% participation before now, the leaders have said we are going to have more. We are going to add more percent. Maybe we are looking at going to have up to 70% participation. And let's not pretend about the fact that you don't always need the young people to run a system. You also need the older people that will run to and go to seek their advice. So that's not true. Abia PDP has always been a youthful party, very youthful and energetic party, and that is what it will continue to be. So there is no argument, there is no insinuation whatsoever anywhere. It's just, like I said, just propaganda by those who are intimidated by the PDP resolution, by the resolve of PDP members. Look at it, for instance, since after the 2023 election, each other political party in Abia has ever had any meeting whatsoever that attracted the kind of presence you saw during the PDP meetings. In fact, last week there was a PDP gathering. Even the governor, who has never organized his own party event, attended, even though he claimed he went to honor invitation of the celebrant of that event. But it's still a PDP outing. A PDP outing, an opposition party in both the state and at the federal, in Abia. So, PDP is a strong, youthful and energetic party, grassroots party. And so will it continue to be. Of course, maybe you're shying away to say it. Some persons left the party recently. Did that affect the party membership or party's vibrancy in any way? It did not. Instead, what many members of PDP are saying today is they are thanking God for those that have left, because we consider many of those that have left as being the problem and responsible for what happened to PDP in the last election. And so we welcome their exit with full chest. And that their exit has actually emboldened us and given more younger people the opportunity to take up leadership positions. So PDP is intact. So don't wait for us. Instead, wait for the other parties in the state who are still not sure of what they are doing and where they are. But as for PDP, the what congresses will commence when the national timetable say it will, and you will see it. You will be there to report from various parts of the state how peaceful it is and how younger leaders are going to emerge as leaders of the party from the ward to the state level.
So, talking about those that have actually left your party, are you saying you're not perturbed in any way by their exit?
Nobody is perturbed. Nobody is perturbed. How many persons have left the party in the first instance? You see, this is what people don't understand, and this is what politics is also a part of. There are people. I hope you know that the last election that PDP lost in Abia, PDP lost that election to PDP. It was PDP members that worked against PDP. It's not as if that any other members worked against the PDP. It was these greedy elements like the former governor called them, Ndiojo in the party, that work against the interests of the party for their own selfish gain. Now, having worked against the party, they thought that those they worked for was they were going to accommodate them, only for them to discover that those they were. That's what they used to say in my place. When you are contracted by an outsider to disrespect or kill your person, your brother, the person who contracted you to do that will not hire you after you've done that job. Now, they were contracted out of their own envy and greed. They work against the party, thinking that the parties and the individuals they work for will now come and crown them the king that they were in PDP. But when they discover that that's not the case, what has happened? They left the PDP. They shamelessly left the party. That's the truth. Because they know that they have nothing else to contribute. They shamelessly left the party. Many of them that left, before leaving the PDP, you remember that they were still vibrant. You are still hearing from them. But since they left PDP, have you heard of them in all the parties they went to? You've not heard of them. You've not heard from them, and you won't hear from them because even those places they went to, they have not been fully welcomed. They have not. And of course, in case you don't know, let me tell you that even a lot of people who allegedly left the party, either by being paid to resign, have come back to say, we only resigned, we didn't leave. We are still in the party. Some have confessed to say, we were paid, we didn't know. We were given money and asked to bring our resignation later and all of that.
Are there plans to welcome them back into the fold?
Yes, like Colonel Akobun said, anybody who has left and wishes to come back, the party will look at the person. And when you come back, there is a key. If you were in number 1 before leaving, and the last person on the queue is number 130, so when you come back, go and stay at number 131. That is what it means. When you return, if the party really considers and they admit you, go and stay at the last person standing on the queue. You have lost your position. That's what it means. So PDP as a political party is not perturbed by those who left. It is a good domain that they left. Like the Englishman, it was, how did they call it? In fact, it was a good domain that they left because they were the bad eggs. They were the bad people that worked against the PDP. We're also aware of some people who are in PDP, hoping that they will get what is it called? They will get the positions they want so that they will hold it on trust for people for the next election. We are aware of those people. We are aware of people who are pretending to be in the party, even as we speak. Their only aim is to see how they can hijack the party leadership from their various wards, holding it on trust for people in another political party in the next election. Like I said, we are aware of such persons, and they will see how we are not going to push them out, but they will see how they will be round up.
You know, because
the PDP that we have in Abia today, like I said, is a useful and energetic party. We are not going to take any nonsense, but we respect our elders and our leaders, but we tell them the truth to their face. We are not going to take any nonsense. We are not perturbed by those who left. How many a situation? You see, if you go to the ocean and use your deep tank and take water, did you do anything? You didn't do nothing.
But what would be wondering, since you knew that these people were bad eggs in your food, why did you not expel them? Why did you have to wait until they leave themselves?
No. You see, they as at before the election, and when you discover that someone, for instance, you have someone who is holding a position of trust, when you discover on the eve of the election that the person has gone rogue, what will it do? Talking about expelling people from the party, there are processes to do that. You know, you don't just wake up and expel somebody. There's someone that was expelled in Okwa. I keep still seeing him around the party meetings. But the fact is that he has been expelled by his party in his ward. Because when he couldn't get the PDP ticket, to return to the National Assembly. He went to Abia and collected a ticket. And shortly after, he resurfaced and said he's in the PDP. So,
has that expulsion been ratified by the State Working Committee of your party?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That there's a process. That's what I'm saying. That there's a process.
Okay.
So that does not mean that he has not been expelled in his ward.
Okay.
So when the time comes, the necessary things will be done, ratification and all of that, and such persons will be suspended or whatever until they truly repent. So what I'm saying is that it was difficult for PDP to do anything about those rebel members that were discovered very late. But we have taken note of that. You see, in Igbo land, they said, you know, so, sorry. So, in other words, PDP had that means that going forward, we have to, especially now that the party is in the hands of the young people, or the party is going to be in the hands of the young people. So we are going to be very careful about such leaders and such characters who will come to be doing overbilling. They will become spies in our fold. We are not going to tolerate that going forward. So we are not perturbed by those people. They've done their worst, and their worst is a good lesson for us. It's also a political experience for us. But going forward, the party knows how best to handle and address such characters.
Well, we have so many issues to talk about. I just hope we'll be able to diffuse some of them before we run out of time. But let's talk about the non-inauguration of your party member by the Speaker of the Abia State House of Assembly. It appears that your party, are you tired of pushing for this, your member, that's the lawmaker-elect for Abia North State constituency, to be inaugurated? We are not getting that push from your party. Are you tired? Or are you okay with the development?
How can we be tired? Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We are not tired. We have been pushing and will continue to push. This is democracy. Unfortunately, I watched a clip yesterday where the so-called speaker was spewing rubbish. I'm sorry to use that word.
Yeah, please. Let's return
talking about ruling of a competent court that has declared Aaron Ozodike as the duly elected member for Abia North. And you are coming back to say that the ruling didn't mandate you. Are you expecting another court to sit and say, you must do this? You see, that is the process. That is where Abia has found itself today. It is a sorry state. It is a pitiable plight for Abia, that Abia is gradually descending into a place of anomaly, political witch hunting. Do the Labour Party in Abia State and Emmanuel Emerowa, the Speaker, have any right whatsoever to deny Aaron Ozodike his position? The answer is no. So the PDP as a political party is not resting on this matter.
Okay.
It is good that Emerowa has called forth yesterday for the first time to give his reasons. I'm sure the PDP leadership, not just in Abia, but in Nigeria, are scrutinizing and studying what he said. There's going to be a next line of action, which I'm not going to say here.
Okay.
For him to have the guts to say that the court that sat, the panel, the Court of Appeal panel that sat and decided that matter didn't give him, didn't mandate him to swear him in. We have listened to him. Thank God he's on record. So we will now, the legal team and the party and everybody, lovers of democracy all over the world, will look at it and study it, and we'll come back with the next action. The fact of the matter is that Aaron Ozodike, as we speak, is the member-elect for Abia North and must be sworn in. And it is not that, it doesn't matter when they will swear him. Whenever they swear him, whatever that it is the right and the right of Abia North people in that assembly must be paid in arrears, must be given to them in arrears. Because they have no justification to what they are doing. They have no justification to what they are doing. Unfortunately, the governor of the state has allowed this. Of course, we saw this sign coming when the governor manipulated the system and ensured that the majority party take off the principal offices in a house.
Is that a fair comment on the governor when he's actually not a member of the parliament?
No, that's what I'm saying, that the governor is allowing this to happen. He is the governor of the state. He's the political head of the state. And he's allowing this to happen. So I also call on him to intervene and ask the House of Assembly, the Speaker in particular, to swear in the member representing Abia State constituency, Honorable Aaron Ozodike. Okay. He has to do that for the peace and for democracy's sake. He has to do that.
All right. Finally, before I let you go, sir, let's talk about the issue of suspension of the Commissioner for Health in Abia State. Would you say the government or the governor has done well, for suspending the Commissioner for Health for alleged misconduct? It's been long we saw that kind of thing happen around here. Is that the right step in the right direction? Or what do you think?
Well, if a commissioner is caught in the web of stealing or whatever as alleged, he or she should be made to answer. And he can't be in the office while answering. So suspending him means that suspension does not mean sack. Suspending means that there is an allegation. Maybe they know how I'm not part of their system. They know how they want to investigate the allegation. But since they have made her suspension public, they should carry the public along in everything that concerns that matter. Because the allegation there is about mismanagement and I think misappropriation, which has to do with that public trust or public fund. So the public must be in the know. So it is not enough to suspend her. They should let the public know bit by bit of what is happening up until when the matter is decided, whether they are going to recall or completely sack her. But if it's found out that whatever is alleged is true, you don't just only sack her. She should be handed over to the security agencies and this thing for prosecution. That's my take.
All right. Let me sincerely thank you, Chief Enyinnaya Appollos, the former Chief Press Secretary to former Governor KZ Paz in Abia State. Thank you so much for your input this morning. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, that's the situation here. It's time for us to pack our baggages and leave the studio. Sincere thanks to all of you who are listening in, or from wherever you must have listened to us this morning. These are the Democrats here on Flu 94.1 FM. Promises to return next week at 9 a.m. on Friday next week, hopefully. My name is Ginika Olwa. Let's keep praying for Abia State and Nigeria to become great. I'll see you again. Good morning.